It's one of the most common routines in the world. You wake up, you reach for it almost automatically. That warm, familiar cup that gets your day started. It feels harmless, even healthy. But what if that same drink, taken in excess and at the wrong time, is quietly doing long-term damage, especially to men over 40? I'm talking about coffee. Now, before you panic or toss your mug away, this isn't an attack on caffeine or coffee itself. Coffee has benefits: antioxidants, alertness, even improved mood. The problem isn't the drink. It's the relationship most men have with it. The timing, the amount, and the dependency. Because the truth is, what starts as a morning ritual can slowly turn into something that drains your prostate health, your hormones, and your recovery. Let's break this down. Your prostate is a small gland, about the size of a walnut, sitting just below the bladder. It's responsible for producing seminal fluid, but it's also deeply connected to urinary health, hormonal balance, and inflammation. As men age, this gland becomes vulnerable. By the time most men reach 50, more than half already experience some kind of prostate enlargement, known as BPH, or benign prostatic hyperplasia. It's not cancer, but it can cause constant trips to the bathroom, weak flow, discomfort, and disrupted sleep. Here's where coffee, or more precisely, caffeine, becomes a hidden trigger. Caffeine is a stimulant. It doesn't just wake up your mind. It stimulates your entire nervous system, including the bladder. That means more urgency, more frequency, and less control. For men with even mild prostate issues, that constant stimulation can make symptoms worse. You feel the urge to urinate more often, especially at night, and your bladder never fully relaxes. But the effect goes deeper than just the bladder. Caffeine also increases adrenal activity. It tells your body to release adrenaline and cortisol, your stress hormones. In small doses, that's fine. It gives you energy. But when you drink multiple cups a day, your body stays in a mild fight-or-flight mode for hours. That means higher blood pressure, constricted blood vessels, and, here's the key, restricted blood flow to the lower body, including the prostate. Over time, that constant constriction leads to inflammation. The prostate is a gland that depends on circulation to flush out toxins and maintain tissue health. When circulation slows and cortisol stays high, inflammatory waste builds up. You might not feel it immediately, but the long-term effect is tissue stress, sensitivity, and in some cases, chronic pelvic discomfort. And there's another layer to this. Coffee is naturally acidic. That acidity irritates the urinary tract, especially when combined with dehydration, which caffeine causes by increasing urine output. Most men drink coffee throughout the day without realizing how much water they're losing. The bladder and prostate end up sitting in a more acidic environment, which increases irritation and inflammation even more. Now think about what most men do on top of this. They drink their first cup on an empty stomach, often right after waking. At that moment, cortisol is already at its natural morning peak. Adding caffeine spikes it even higher. Over time, that overstimulation drains your adrenals, flattens your natural energy curve, and keeps inflammation markers elevated all day. And then comes the evening cup, to push through work or get through the gym. That late caffeine delays melatonin release and disrupts sleep. You might fall asleep, but your body won't rest deeply. And since testosterone and growth hormone are produced mainly during deep sleep, chronic caffeine use directly reduces your hormonal recovery. In short, caffeine tightens blood vessels, reducing circulation to the prostate. It increases acidity and urinary urgency. It raises stress hormones, amplifying inflammation. It ruins sleep, which lowers testosterone and tissue repair. It's a perfect storm. That's why many urologists now warn men over 45 to rethink their relationship with coffee. Not because it's evil, but because the male body changes with age. What once was harmless stimulation becomes chronic strain. The prostate simply can't handle constant stress, acidity, and dehydration without consequences. The good news is, you don't need to quit coffee entirely. You just need to take back control. Start with timing. The worst time to drink coffee is first thing in the morning or late in the evening. Instead, wait at least 90 minutes after waking. That gives your cortisol time to rise and fall naturally before adding caffeine on top. You'll actually get more energy from your coffee because your system isn't already maxed out. Next, hydrate. For every cup of coffee, drink at least 1 glass of water. This helps protect your bladder and maintain healthy circulation. Then, Set a cutoff. Ideally, no caffeine after 2 p.m. That gives your body enough time to clear it before bed, allowing testosterone and melatonin to work properly. Finally, focus on quality over quantity. 1 or 2 cups of clean, organic coffee are fine. But skip the constant refills, energy drinks, and pre-workout stimulants. They flood your body with synthetic caffeine, which hits harder and lasts longer. Here's the truth. Caffeine tolerance isn't strength, it's a sign of stress adaptation. If you need coffee to function, your system is already in imbalance. True vitality means being able to wake up alert without it. Once you cut back, your natural energy returns. Cortisol normalizes, blood flow improves, and you start sleeping deeper. Within a week or 2, most men notice fewer bathroom trips at night and stronger morning focus. It's not magic. It's physiology resetting. Coffee can be part of a healthy life, but only if it serves you, not the other way around. The goal is control, not dependence. So tomorrow morning, when you reach for that cup, pause for a second. Ask yourself, am I using this for energy, or am I covering up exhaustion? That question alone could be the beginning of a much healthier body and a calmer prostate. When you finally begin to pull away from caffeine dependence, the first thing you notice isn't actually more energy. It's calm. Real, grounded calm that feels like your body exhaling after years of tension. You might not realize how overstimulated you've been until the noise fades. The headaches, the jittery focus, the shallow breathing, they all start to settle. That's your nervous system relearning what balance feels like. And once that balance returns, your prostate and hormonal health begin to follow. Because the truth is, the prostate is not an isolated organ. It's part of an entire ecosystem of male vitality. Everything that affects circulation, inflammation, and hormones eventually reaches it. So protecting the prostate is not about doing one special thing. It's about restoring that ecosystem to its natural rhythm. It starts with blood flow. The prostate sits deep in the pelvis, surrounded by dense networks of small vessels. Those capillaries deliver oxygen, nutrients, and hormones, and they depend on one thing above all: movement. The less you move, the more stagnant the blood becomes. And when blood stagnates, waste products build up, inflammation rises, and tissue becomes more vulnerable. That's why men who sit for long hours often develop pelvic discomfort long before any official diagnosis. It's not bad luck, it's poor circulation. So one of the most powerful daily habits you can build is simply to move. 10 minutes of walking after meals, light stretching during work breaks, or a few minutes of deep breathing while standing tall can do more for prostate health than most supplements. Every time you move, you pump blood through those small vessels, washing out toxins and lowering pressure in the pelvic region. Movement is medicine. The second pillar is hydration. Caffeine dehydrates the body, and dehydration thickens the blood. Thicker blood flows more slowly, meaning less oxygen and fewer nutrients reach the prostate. Many men think they drink enough, but mild dehydration is easy to miss. A good rule is to drink a glass of water upon waking, 1 between meals and 1 before bed. If you drink coffee, balance each cup with an equal amount of water. It's simple, but it keeps your circulation smooth and your urinary tract healthy. Hydration also helps your kidneys filter waste efficiently, preventing the buildup of uric acid and other irritants that stress the bladder and prostate. And the clearer your urine, the less irritation your lower urinary tract experiences. Next comes the hidden weapon against inflammation: nutrition. What you eat determines whether your body spends its time healing or reacting. Diets high in processed fats, refined sugars, and alcohol increase systemic inflammation and oxidative stress, which directly affect the prostate. The gland becomes more sensitive, swollen, and less efficient. On the other hand, foods rich in antioxidants, omega-3 fats, and polyphenols actively protect it. Think of salmon, olive oil, walnuts, turmeric, berries, tomatoes, and green vegetables. They reduce inflammatory markers and improve endothelial function, which means your blood vessels stay flexible and open. Even something as simple as replacing one processed meal with a whole food option each day can significantly lower inflammation over time. Combine that with cutting caffeine after noon, and you're already creating the kind of internal environment where healing becomes possible. But the most underestimated factor is stress. Every spike in stress hormones constricts blood vessels and raises inflammation. Chronic stress turns that temporary contraction into a permanent condition. The pelvic floor muscles tense, the bladder becomes more reactive, and circulation weakens. That's why relaxation is not a luxury. It's therapy. Deep breathing, meditation, slow walks, quiet evenings, all of these tell your body it's safe to relax. When the mind calms, the pelvic muscles loosen and blood begins to flow freely again. Men often underestimate how much their thoughts affect their physiology. The link between anxiety, cortisol, and prostate irritation is well documented. In fact, many men with chronic pelvic pain experience relief not from drugs, but from learning how to breathe and relax their lower abdomen. It's the simplest form of healing, yet the most ignored. Now, let's return to caffeine for a moment, because moderation is the key, not elimination. 1 or 2 small cups of coffee early in the day can actually be beneficial if handled properly. Caffeine increases dopamine and circulation temporarily, giving a mental boost. The problem starts when it's used as a substitute for rest. If you're drinking coffee to feel normal, not to enhance energy, your body is running on stress chemistry. That's when it becomes dangerous. Try cycling your caffeine. Go 5 days on, 2 days off. During the off days, use alternatives like green tea or chicory coffee. Green tea contains L-theanine, which balances caffeine's stimulating effect and even supports prostate health through catechins, natural antioxidants that reduce inflammation. By rotating caffeine sources, you keep your nervous system responsive and avoid the flatline that comes from constant overstimulation. Another practical habit that can transform your prostate health is posture. Most men spend hours with their pelvis tucked and spine curved, compressing the lower abdomen. That pressure reduces blood flow and traps tension in the pelvic muscles. Sitting tall with your hips slightly open and feet flat on the ground allows circulation to reach deep tissues again. Even better, try sitting on a firm surface or ergonomic cushion to reduce perineal pressure. It might sound small, but over months, that simple adjustment can drastically reduce irritation and improve urinary comfort. The next point is sleep. When you rest deeply, your body produces testosterone and growth hormone, both of which protect the prostate. Poor sleep keeps cortisol high, shrinking those benefits. Remember that caffeine has a half-life of about 6 hours, meaning that even coffee at 2 p.m. can still keep your body partially alert at night. The fix is to build a consistent cutoff and protect your sleep environment. Dark, quiet, and cool. If you wake frequently to urinate, try reducing evening fluids and cutting all caffeine after lunch. Within a week or 2, your sleep depth will increase, and your nighttime trips will decrease. That's a direct sign that inflammation and bladder irritation are dropping. There's one more layer rarely discussed: the hormonal connection between the liver, testosterone, and the prostate. The liver is responsible for clearing excess hormones and toxins. When overloaded with caffeine, alcohol, or processed fats, it slows down, leading to hormonal imbalances. Estrogen metabolites rise, testosterone utilization drops, and the prostate becomes more reactive. Supporting the liver through hydration, clean food, and rest indirectly supports prostate health too. It's all connected. Over time, the men who adopt these habits notice profound changes. Their mornings become smoother, their digestion steadier, and their mood more even. They no longer rely on stimulants to wake up or sedatives to fall asleep. They regain natural control over their rhythm, and as that rhythm stabilizes, prostate function follows. Fewer bathroom interruptions, stronger flow, and less discomfort. It's all a sign of internal balance returning. But beyond physiology, there's a mindset shift. Taking care of your prostate isn't about fear or disease, it's about respect. Respect for the body that's carried you this far, and for the systems that keep you alive. The same habits that protect the prostate, hydration, movement, calm, clean food, also protect the heart, brain, and longevity. They're not separate goals. They're one life pattern. The truth is, no man loses his vitality overnight. It fades slowly through daily neglect. Too much stress, too little rest, too many stimulants, not enough sunlight. The good news is, you can reverse that curve just as slowly and steadily. 1 glass of water, 1 short walk, 1 earlier bedtime at a time. The body always wants to heal. You just have to stop interrupting it. So the next time you think about your morning coffee, don't think of it as a guilty pleasure or a forbidden ritual. Think of it as a choice, a tool. Use it wisely, with awareness, and it can serve you instead of hurt you. But remember that real energy doesn't come from caffeine. It comes from blood flow, rest, and calm. That's the kind of energy that lasts decades, not hours. If there's one takeaway from all this, It's that your prostate health is a reflection of your lifestyle, not your luck. The men who thrive past 50 aren't the ones who avoid coffee completely. They're the ones who know when to stop. They move daily, they breathe deeply, they rest fully. And they understand that strength isn't about constant stimulation. It's about control. So tonight, as you wind down, skip the evening espresso. Drink a glass of water instead. Stretch your legs. Breathe into your lower abdomen and feel the tension leave. That's blood flow returning. That's healing in motion. And in that quiet, simple act, you'll be doing more for your prostate than any supplement ever could.